So
Thank you so much. I'm
Okay.
so happy.
Farah, are you ready? Yeah. Okay, so what I want to know this too. So what was the Olympic Village like?
So the Olympic Village is one of the most spectacular places that I've ever been at as a games village have come. So I've been to SEA Games, I've been to Commonwealth Games, Asian Games. So going to the Olympic Village, it is one so beautiful. It's large, it has huge streets, and then one of the most spectacular things is meeting athletes from everywhere, from all over the world. And you see all these athletes who are from the US, from China, from everywhere, from Oceania. And so it's so amazing to see all these amazing athletes and to see all the Olympic rings. So if anyone wondered what the Olympic rings mean, it means like the 5 continents, and it's interlocking means to have friendship. And that's what the games are. That's why the rings are interlocking. And so it's all the 5 continents. And so have the continents everywhere, Tokyo 2020 everywhere, and the dining hall is massive. It's 2 stories. Then you have the flag lane, so the flag lanes are where all the flags of the participating countries are flown. And so it's so amazing to and also to see some of my friends from overseas, from other gymnasts, and then to kind of experience everything as a whole. Of course, so one of the things is everyone was in masks, and usually there's a lot more camaraderie. But of course, because of COVID, everyone is very wary, and we did have to do a saliva test every single morning when we woke up. So there were a lot of precautions that we also followed. I also double mask, wore my face shield, always hand sanitized. So there was a lot of amazing things, but also a lot of precautions that were put forth for us to be able to kind of go on with the competitions. But the village itself was so amazing. It was overlooking the waterways. So my room, so it overlooked the huge bridge and this huge waterway. So when I woke up in the morning, pagi-pagi boleh nampak air. It was so tenang. It was really amazing and nice.
And I'm sure everyone's jealous that you got to go out of Malaysia. We want to travel too.
Yeah. It felt semi-normal, but also the airport in KL. I love KLA airport, but it was a bit sad that everything was closed. Yeah, but it was nice hearing it announcement. So I missed that.
Yeah. We used to be like, oh, can't they be more quiet? But now we're just like, if we go there, it's almost like as if you don't hear it. Very, I go there sometimes for some things, but okay. So next question, what was Tokyo like for you, just in general?
In general, Tokyo. Ooh,
because of course, besides just the athletes and and being an athlete yourself, were you guys confined, or could you at least walk around and see Tokyo?
So no, Tokyo, because of the precautions and because of COVID, obviously the Japanese public and the Japanese government wanted to make sure that their public were safe. So no, we were not allowed in Tokyo. We were only allowed from the athletes village. So we took our buses to go to the venue and back. So those were the only places that we were allowed to go. So in sense, we didn't see Tokyo, but on the bus ride, I did get to see some of the other venues. So when on my way to my stadium, Ariake Stadium, I saw the skateboarding stadium. It was so beautiful, and I feel a bit sad because nobody from anywhere else got to see it. It's so amazing. It's huge. It's beautiful. Ariake Stadium. The seats are made of wood. And so overall, it's such a beautiful place. And no, we didn't get to see Tokyo, but hopefully soon, fingers crossed that we all get to experience that again. So, but no,
but of course you had a bigger fight and bigger reason why you were in Tokyo anyway. So
yeah.
So what was the highlight of your time there?
Of course, competing in the arena, yes, and putting on like the leotards that I had designed, and also, you know, wearing the tiger colors, and also just representing Malaysia at the Olympics, living up my dream. So it was such an amazing experience to go out there, and I could feel the Malaysian support, my parents from the TV. So actually, a little funny story was usually after my floor exercise, because I love doing my floor exercise. I love showing my personality and dancing to music and
Yes,
all my
you were
skills.
so beautiful and you were glowing and you were just shining. I saw you.
Aw,
You were so, oh,
thank you so
chills.
much. Thank you so much. And so I actually, usually what I do is I kind of blow a kiss and I wave to the crowd, but there wasn't a crowd there. So I was kind of, oh, and then I was like, isn't it weird? You know, to wave. So I kind of just like, oh. And so then when I came down, I kind of waved to the camera, and I showed my heart sign to show my love for everyone that was supporting me back home. So that's a little thing where usually some things that I usually do that I wasn't really able to do. But I also was so happy to be able to perform at the Olympics and to finally have my dreams come true and to compete with all these other amazing gymnasts from like the best of the best in the entire world, to be able to perform with them.
Yeah, I mean, okay, sorry. I just sort of had an issue with my text, so I just blanked out a little bit. So,
No.
okay, next question here. And it was heartbreaking, but we saw you tear up when you were interviewed by the media. And inside, I teared up too for you because we talked in April about, you know, your struggles and how you were trying to keep it together and keep your hopes high and your motivation high. So tell me more about you know how you were feeling.
So the story behind this is I finished my vault, and of course I did make a mistake. Sorry, not on the vault, but on another apparatus. And obviously, I wanted to go out there and do the very best. But unfortunately, with competitions, as in anything in life, sometimes things don't go your way. But after making my mistake, I actually just reminded myself, you know, this is a competition and I'm here to show my very best and to enjoy the competition and go out there and show the world what I'm made of. So I just kind of move forward and move forward. And so when I finished the competition, it really, all the emotions came crashing down of being, oh my god, because yes, when you're training you're like, okay, I've qualified for the Olympics, but you're not an Olympian until you finish your apparatus, when you finish the competition, and then you can finally say that you're an Olympian. So at that moment it kind of dawned on me that I did it, you know, I'm an Olympian, and it really settle. And so when we walk past the media, there is a little time, very little time of like an empty space where I'm just alone. And that all those feelings were kind of like, oh wow, it's done. I'm finished. I did it. All the hard work for the past couple of years, in such a hard year, not even for me, but for everyone. And so when I was at the interview, I was really trying to wrap my head around everything, and then so obviously the emotions of feeling very proud of myself to finally achieve my dreams, and also of course wanting to perform at my utmost best, but making a mistake. So it really was when I said to the camera, and when I was talking, I said when I gave my 100% was because I really did. I left everything out there. I did everything that I could, and so that was why I had such an emotional experience, because it was being very happy and being very proud, but also I wish I did a little bit better. And so all those emotions were very much in me. So it was a varying emotions, but I remember waking up the next day and feeling the utmost pride in being able to represent Malaysia in gymnastics at the Olympics.
Wow, I was just talking to my assistant here about being an Olympian and how hard, and you're competing against the best of the best, and no matter what, you're still the best because you're competing against, you know, everyone that's the best at their sport. So I just want to ask you, did you get starstruck by anyone there, or like, who did like, who stood out for you the most? You know.
So I think obviously Simone Biles was and is
Oh my
an
God,
icon.
always.
Yes, she's an icon. And so mean, I'm actually a bit shy to take photos with people, and and so my coach, and obviously because it's COVID, and even for me, we are respecting each other's boundaries, and obviously, you know, we don't want to kind of invade people's spaces, and everyone wants to protect themselves, and obviously, you don't want to suddenly get a positive test and then not be able to compete at all. And so obviously the US team they were very, very worried, and they didn't even stay in the athletes village. So I did ask, and my coach said, go and ask her. And I said, no, it's okay, it's okay. And she finally pushed me to go and ask. So I did ask her for a photo. And, you know, she was really nice. The whole team was really nice. And of course, I'm just in awe of her gymnastics, but also in awe of her personality, of what she stands for. And so she would be the one that, you know, as a gymnast and as a person, to look up to someone that is like that and also is such a great role model is very inspiring for me, and I know like all the other gymnasts as well. And I was very lucky to also be in a group with Oksana, and I competed with her many times. So if people don't know, Oksana she has gone to 8 Olympic Games. So she's the most decorated gymnast in the Olympics ever. So it was amazing to see her perform and compete, and, you know, see her train and see that kind of dedication for, because if you go for 8 Olympics, 18, 24, 18, 24, 32, that's 32 years of being at the top of your game.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long have you been competing for?
So I've been competing for 25 years. I've been training for 25 years. I've been competing for 17.
Okay, so
20.
Okay, so I think we should move on to the next question. Okay, so who has impressed you the most in the event? So you've actually answered that. Any other events that caught your attention? Did you see any other events with Team Malaysia? Are you allowed to go and see other events?
So unfortunately, I was not so because it's very strict, and we found out because I was one of the first people competing. So I was, after the opening ceremony was the men's competition, and that was my competition, and then we have to leave 48 hours after. So a lot of the people who were competing for Malaysia, I didn't get to go to the stadium because they said on the second day that you could actually enter with if you had a pass. Obviously, we all have our accreditations.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to go because I then had to leave in 48 hours. But I did watch all the Malaysians on Astro and to wherever I could get them. So there were sometimes where I had to have different screens because I'm like, okay, I need to watch this, but they're at the same time, kan? So obviously I watched diving and badminton and all the sports that were competing and supported all of them, and I was so proud to be part of Team Malaysia at these Olympics.
And we're so proud of you. Okay, so I think it's time for us to read some comments because you guys have stayed for this long. Jangan pergi ke mana-mana sebab kejap lagi kita nak umumkan promo and we're gonna give a contest out for you guys. So let's see. Farah, do you play badminton?
So I play badminton, not so well lah. Okay, but I play like
We don't believe you're not so well.
Yeah,
you're
no, but
so
because
well, it's above average.
because we as an athlete, we usually try not to play other sports so much. We're just afraid of getting injured from other sports. So yeah, and because we train like 6 days a week, so on one day we try to rest. But sometimes when we have kind of down season, I sometimes play.
Okay, so another question is Olympics 2024, Farah, are you competing?
So I guess we have to wait and see because right now, obviously after competing in this Olympics, and I'm trying to decide what's next for me in the future. So, and of course 2024 is in another 3 years. So I really cannot say right now. For me, it's a lot more about training at the time and competing in the competitions that are the closest. Okay,
another comment. Emily Moe, what sports will you choose if not gymnastics?
I think maybe ice skating. Yeah, I would. Every time I watch the Winter Olympics and I watch ice skating, I always like think that, I think I could also do ice skating, and I
Did you
think I
see
could
this
perform.
YouTube where ice skaters try to be gymnasts and gymnasts try to be ice skaters?
I think so. I think I watched a few where they try to always swap, but I don't think I watched the ice skating one. I
That
think
one was
you sent me that one.
interesting because you would think that it was natural for them to just switch between, these two
No.
sports.
This is from experience because I tried ice skating before and I wasn't that good.
Okay, so there's a Malay question here. Apa pendirian hidup Farah?
So untuk saya selalu beri satu pendirian yang saya perlu sentiasa percaya pada diri sendiri, sebab saya rasa itu adalah satu perkara yang sangat penting untuk satu sebagai atlet, tapi also satu sebagai orang biasa. Sebab kalau kita tak percaya pada diri kita sendiri, tak percaya pada kita punya cita-cita atau apa yang kita nak lakukan dalam kehidupan kita, itu kita tak boleh berjaya, sebab kita lah orang pertama yang kena lakukannya, dan selepas kita lakukannya baru orang lain akan percaya pada kita. So itu adalah satu pendirian yang saya selalu bawa untuk kehidupan saya.
So it's like walk the talk. Not just dream, but like follow through and make sure that you commit to it.